Altered Carbon Resleeved is the nail in the coffin that makes me lose all hope for Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon was Netflix's breakout sci-fi hit of 2019 and has recently come back in a very disappointing Altered Carbon Season 2. Now, in addition to this, Netflix has recently dropped Altered Carbon Resleeved. Altered Carbon Resleeved is an anime version of a standalone tale, which kind of seems like it happens after Season 2, although I'm not 100% sure about that, in the Altered Carbon world. And it is not good. Not good at all. Now, one thing about Altered Carbon is it has, in some ways, a Blade Runner-esque view of the world. It has dystopian future societies, although not so dystopian. It also has Yakuza background. We have guys using ninja-esque fighting techniques, shooting lots of people. We have cyborgs. We have holograms. All that seems like it would pair very well with Japanese animation. Sadly, it does not. This was done by a Japanese crew. We have writing credits by Dai Sato and Tsukasa Kondo. Now, they did the writing for this based on the novel by Richard Morgan, who is not Japanese, and it looks like Shane Gotcher did the adaptation, which I assume means going back from the all-Japanese version to the English, although I'm not 100% sure about that. It was directed by Takeru Nakajima and Yoshiyuki Okada. They have some other Japanimation type backgrounds and pedigrees, which, makes it all right. One of the nice things about the Altered Carbon universe in general is that you can have anybody doing the acting, right? Because the characters go into new bodies, which they call sleeves at any time, you don't need the actors that we know, but unfortunately, they keep using the characters that we know. Of course, the main character is going to be Takeshi Kovacs. Tak, as he's usually called, has a sister who is a murdering psychopath who worked with the Yakuza, and you also have his boo, Quellcrest Falconer, who kind of disappears at the end of Season 2. She's just not that into him anymore. Sorry, Tak. Now, Tak killed his sister, supposedly the last remaining copy of his sister, because you can copy yourself and clone your bodies and blah, 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 at the end of Season 1. This seems to take place Season 2 because between Season 1 and 2, Kovacs is traveling around with Poe, who was the hologram from a hotel in Season 1. At the end of Season 2, Tak just leaves and Poe is still on Harlan's world. This is some other world, to be honest, I can't remember the name, and it's not really that important. It seems to be more Yakuza controlled. Now, part of the problem with this is the story, and part is the art. The story is awful because it completely ignores the vast majority of the setup done in Altered Carbon Season 1. Instead, it just focuses on cool things. Now, the only thing that it does sort of set up, spoilers, is that in this Yakuza crime family, which has hired Kovacs to go and investigate who killed this one Yak guy's brother, okay? And then they're having a changing of the guard where after so many years, the leader of this Yakuza crime family, he kills himself and somebody else becomes the new head for a certain term. And then after that term, that guy will kill himself. I don't think they ever spell it out exactly. There's a question of who real deathed the brother. And it turns out the father of the guy who hired people, yeah, it's complicated, has been alive for centuries just using new bodies and new fake identities time after time. in order to become immortal, even though he's not supposed to. And the excuse for it is, well, this prevents corruption. That's why we kill the leader every so many years. Why the pretense? That makes no sense. You're the leader. You can essentially live forever. People are making money. All these Yaks seem well fed. They have jobs. I assume they have decent healthcare and dental benefits. Why would you want to switch? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know if it's to give people the sense that, if I work real hard one day, I could be the Yakuza boss who will be killed 10 years later. There doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of benefit to it other than simply, to do it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay, whatever. Most of it focuses on Tak and basically this cop who's a woman who ends up being his sister. Why don't you just go for like a complete switch and have his sister in a guy's body? So during this whole thing, Tak doesn't know this lady is his sister. His sister doesn't know it's Tak until the end, but she never says anything because why would she? The whole sister thing sort of cheeses me off. You didn't need to have her in there, and it sort of spoils the fact that she was killed at the end of season 1. Kind of sort of teased that in season 2. Maybe she's still around, but now we know. Boring. This would have been a better use, sort of like how Star Wars uses the Clone Wars between episodes 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, where they build on the character stuff in the movies and they show a more gradual slide into degeneracy and wickedness for Anakin Skywalker. If they had more about how this develops the world, how does Takeshi Kovacs change over the time? I don't know. Sadly, we don't get that. All it is there are these ninjas that I don't think were ever really explained, and they use cool ninja weapons instead of guns because future. And part of the other problem I have with this is I didn't like in season 2 where Takeshi Kovacs had this super soldier body that's genetically enhanced to have a quicker healing factor and take more punishment and et cetera, because A, you're only going to have to outdo yourself every time until it gets to silly levels. And then that makes a real dichotomy between the person and the average person, right? Like, why would the average person allow this sort of thing to go on? Why wouldn't there be more revolts against superpowered people just abusing everyone all the time? Again, it doesn't seem to make sense to me. But at any rate, there's lots of killing. There's a tattoo artist girl who was trying to find her parents' stacks, and she worked for the mafia, and I don't know, whatever. It didn't really matter, and I'm not really interested in her character. Then we get to the art. The visual stylings are terrible. The 3D animation is cel shaded, which I like that style, actually. It's quite nice, but the quality seems almost like it's from around 2000. Like 20 years later, guy, this stuff all needs to match. You can see much better looking stuff in, for example, Netflix's Dragon Prince. They went with this weird styling of the characters are cel shaded to make them look like more cartoons, but then most of the backgrounds try to be photorealistic. So we have, like, for example, it's all night, of course, and it's raining. So you have asphalt, and you can see the pitting in the asphalt, and then you can see the slick, wet surface from the drizzle that they get, and it doesn't match at all towards with the cartoony nature of the characters. So other than appealing to anime fans who like a lot of random violence with seemingly no point, I don't know who this was made for. It doesn't make me learn any more about Kovacs. It doesn't make me learn any more about his sister. It doesn't advance the overall stories of the envoys. And how does everybody know the envoy? Like, weren't they dead a long time ago? How do they know this guy was the last envoy? Wasn't he also supposed to be dead a long time ago? Wouldn't the government on Harlan's world have kind of kept this hush-hush? I don't know. None of this really makes any sense other than to have someone who we're told is cool rather than being shown he's cool. Just have him go around doing quote unquote cool things, which tends to be murder. I don't know, guys. You got to give me a little something. In Altered Carbon Season 1, what we saw was Takahashi. He was a badass and he would beat people up, but it wasn't a given. He still had problems. He could still get captured. He had vices. He was addicted to drugs and he drank a lot. Here, the drinking is just used as like something cool, a manly man thing that assassins do. Whereas in Season 1, clearly he was an alcoholic. He was using it to self-medicate for the loss of his family and his lover and everything. What are you doing, guys? All right, so in short, to wrap this up, this is an anime that will please no one except for maybe, 12-year-olds who think violence is cool and are stuck in home due to plague, not having school anymore for the rest of the year 2020. If that's you, hey, go for it. If you want something deeper, if you want something that expands the Altered Carbon universe, I guess they're on another planet. That's about all you're going to get. So, all right, guys, if you like this review, give it a thumbs up. Tell me, what did you think of Altered Carbon Resleeved? Do you want to see more of these? Was this actually good? Did it add anything to the world, to the universe to you? Do you have any hope? Because I don't. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I'll be back soon.